we've got some serious exploring to do here on Tikamoon Plains in Way the Hunter, and frankly, I was going to start this video outside the lodge, and then I walked past this lion mount, and I just thought how unbelievably cool it is that we're actually here on Africa in Way the Hunter. But in the last video, we really didn't cover that much ground. There is a huge map to be discovered out here, and I want to try to get to maybe all the cabins and just kind of see where that leads us. We've seen a bunch of promising animals already. I can't imagine how much good stuff is in these areas we haven't seen. So I've put away the bow for now, but the UTV is not going to be too far away at any point. Should we find something cool that we absolutely have to take with the bow, we'll be able to get that from the storage. But I do want to take the UTV around. We'll still be hunting as we go, but I think it's going to be best if we give ourselves that luxury of being able to move a little faster. And already just a half mile into our journey, we've got our first herd of animals out here, a group of greater kudu, and I'm looking at this one. He's a little bit more kind of gray, and he's not very big. We've seen just how big like a 3-star adult is. I gotta think that's a potential call animal, so we're looking at like 450 plus yards. I do think we'll give ourselves the crutch of the hunter sense for this. Let's see if we can get that guy at range with the 300. He's gonna be on the move as well, actually. It's basically dead on. Definitely smoked him. That is very pink blood. And we'll see what we just shot. One of the things I really love about this map already is just how important, like, getting up to high ground is. You can really glass around and see a lot of stuff. I think over on this side somewhere, looks like there's a couple of blue wildebeest like 1,000 yards that way. And there's lots of these little hills you can get up on and potentially scout around. And just kind of looking up closer, I think we made a decent decision. We can soon find out. That ended up being a high double lung shot. 471 yards, that 300 did not do bad. That was a 47% adult. I'm not sure what a mature kudu looks like yet. We have not seen one. And because they're only, a max age of 8 years old, they would die off pretty quickly, so it's not a big surprise we haven't. But that guy was notably more gray than even the youngs that we've seen. So we're going to keep on moving here. And by the way, we're not going to just like hunt from the UTV. When we get up close to that next lodge, maybe within 3/4 mile, we'll jump out and actually hunt around on foot. And incidentally, just as we kind of hit that point, we would have driven right by this campsite. I did not even see it, but we jumped out. It happened to be just to our right. And that's one more spot we can jump to and potentially check out other herds. And to be honest, this is definitely my preferred way of hunting. I just feel like we encounter far more animals. But we have a 1-star adult black wildebeest out here, and they are actually a class 5 animal, so I do want to see how the 308 does on them, because we used the 300 in the last video, and that was at least an opportunity at heart shot. I think we got it, just judging by the amount of blood and the fact that he basically immediately goes into that stumbling animation. Pretty much died exactly where we shot him. Let's go and see. And I know we already talked about this earlier, so I won't gush over it again, but these things are just so cool looking. That was a heart shot. 161 yards away, at least at that. The 308 had no problem. Now, gauging by this, we were down pretty low on the amount of energy by the time the bullet got there, but it still more or less insta-dropped him. 59% 1-star adult, and good to, get that one taken out. There's a growing list of things that I just cannot wait to find on this map, and of course, 5-star black wildebeest is up there, and anytime we get a chance to benefit the herds, we are definitely going to do that. I don't know what we've just stumbled upon. Oh my god, a 3-star adult lion. I hadn't spotted him yet, but I don't know if this is like intended. I was taking a couple of photos already because I was afraid that he was just going to walk away. But he's like standing up here, like Lion King-esque, looking out over everything. It is really cool, and I just don't know if it's scripted or not. Like, it's incredible. I've got a bunch of cool screenshots. I'll put some on screen just so you can see. But I saw him standing here. He actually called, so we crept up to that spot to try to spot him. It is as if he is supposed to be there. And probably one day this is going to be a 5-star, which really, just the location, the probable genetics of a 3-star adult lion, it feels like there's some, intentional addition of this. That is so cool. If this was a 5-star, I'd, right now, struggle to shoot it, because this is one of the coolest scenes I've ever witnessed, and the fact that he let us get that close. Gonna be pretty tough to top that, but we're at least gonna try. So, we've got some Warthog out here. There is a 1-star adult, and kind of like the Black Wildebeest earlier, they're a tier 5 animal, and in the earlier video, we only got to shoot one with the 300, so I want to try to take him with the 308 and see how that does, because frankly, it took a 300 round pretty darn well. So that's the one out front there, about 200 yards away, and I think that'll be a pretty decent kind of idea of what we should expect from the 308 on a Warthog. So, kind of quartering, but that should work, and kind of like in the case of the 300, seemed to take that like an absolute champ. Now, he slowed up a little bit, and he is just out of there? I'm not so sure that's even going to get him. We'll keep an eye on him, and if he maybe slows up in the distance, we'll try to get him with like the 300, because I don't think that's going to bring him down. Actually, it did. And I don't think he ever stumbled. Maybe they don't really have a stumbling animation, but he ran pretty far as well. And I think we just found our lion's drinkstone as well. Pretty far from where the icon is, but where we encountered him was between there and here. So, good to know about that. We'll definitely be checking that during their drink time, and now we can go and grab our Warthog. Was left lung really with solid energy, but we hit that shoulder blade and just lost a bunch. So if we shot behind that, I think we'd have done a little bit better. 36%, so actually good to take that one out. But they are, pound for pound, so far from what we've encountered, maybe the toughest thing out here. Now that's looking a little more like it. We have a herd of Gemsbuck out here, and our first mature Gemsbuck, a 1-star, so definitely one that needs taken out. And I think while he's broadside, we'll go ahead and do that. Gotta go back to like 200 meter zero. They are just tanks. Like, you see the way he was standing? You really appreciate the size. I'm surprised that dropped him, but we saw that with the Cape Buffalo as well. And I mentioned like the Warthog being pound for pound maybe the toughest thing on this map. And it's almost kind of inverse to how you'd expect. So far, the 300 seems to drop a lot of the big game, whereas things like Warthogs run pretty far with the 300 shot. But dropped in his tracks or not, one thing's for sure, they're a lot grayer when they get to mature, and this guy's got to be really subpar genetics, because I think most of the females are bigger than this. It was lung and liver. Not a terrible shot for 215 yards, but still kind of surprised he didn't run some. 24%. Definitely good to remove that from the gene pool. He almost had like one straight and one curled horn. I wish we took a little longer to look at that, but we're going to keep on making our way up to this corner. Actually, we'll go back and grab the UTV, and then we'll scoot across all the way to the west to this cabin. I'm not sure if these wildebeest know this, but I don't think this campsite's for them. Regardless, we're going to go ahead and continue our herd calling here. Actually, I was going to shoot the 2-star mature, but let's get that 1-star out of there first. I think, especially at the start like this, when you've got a brand new map, getting rid of like the lowest genetic potential males in all these herds has to have some of the biggest impact you can make as a whole on your map. Gotta pause when firing the 300, because that sucker is pretty loud, but looks like we got that one pretty good. And that'll be nice. We've got a campsite. Interesting spot down here too. It's in this really deep gully that runs all the way through here. So it's going to be good to be able to spawn there, and it actually is in a well-placed spot, because there's a way up out in basically every direction. And I guess while we're here, we might as well try to take this 1-star adult Warthog. Now, I think we're actually going to go for an intentional headshot here, because they tend to run so far, even with the 300 round, and I don't want to have to track it up out of here. So, see if we can do this. Moving around a lot. Well, that'll work, and you definitely don't have to track when that happens. So, let's grab our 1-star mature. I don't remember if we've shot a mature wildebeest at all yet, but definitely not a 1-star mature. He was 30%, and again, like I was saying as we fired that shot, you always, when managing your herds, want to take out the lowest genetic potential males, but when a map is fresh like this, and there's who knows what kind of potential out there, removing those lowest ones, 1-star matures especially, and if they're older 1-star matures, even better because it'll be a lower percentage, it's got to have a massive impact. In terms of 1-star adult warthogs, you never know exactly what that could be. Managed to actually clip the bottom of the brain there, and he was at 29%, so actually, really a better impact than getting the wildebeest. Ooh, no way. A 5-star blue wildebeest. I knew the moment he walked through there he was huge. Okay, the good news is, the UTV is not far behind us. I had literally just made the decision to abandon the thing because I felt like we were missing too much. I think it's just over to our right here. We're going to grab the bow. We're going to try to call that guy in. And we're going to try to arrow our first 5-star on Tikamoon Plains here, Way the Hunter. That got my heart rate going so fast when I saw the size of that horn. Holy. I mean, look at him. He is just huge. We don't even have to spot to know. It is very obviously that one that seems to have a total spread of like 2 feet. He is just enormous, but I think we're going to try to set up as if cover was more important than it is, because I really wish that were an aspect of this game. Maybe like down here just over the crest of the hill. I mean, that is insane. And the only problem is, our absolute monster of a 5-star is way back there. This guy's here at like 45 yards. Now, we saw with the springbuck that you can actually fire a bow and not spook things pretty effectively, and I'm kind of thinking that might actually be the move. So we're going to try this. If this sends the herd running, we'll figure it out. Actually stopping right about there. It's a little beyond 27. No way. Must have stuck that right in the heart. And it's as if nothing ever happened. Now, everything's kind of looking around, so I think it could be a combo of them being alerted from the shot and the fact that that caller was starting to kind of run out. So, yeah, our 5-star's alerted, but he doesn't know that we just dropped this 2-star over here, so he should keep on coming in. It is literally absurd the longer I look at that. Like, look at that compared to this 1-star adult. There's no comparison. I mean, just insane. I think we're at that point where we want to hit the caller again, and we're going to try to let him get into something like where we shot that 2-star. That was actually about 37 yards. So let's let him come into at least that. It's making me a little nervous seeing just how big those horns are. So we know that top pin's 27. It might actually work out that he'll stop for us because of the call. So let's get this ready. We're going to give him another couple of seconds, and then we'll get to full draw. We got to be careful too with just the size of the head. Like, it covers a lot of the vitals, but he is well in range. Just need a shot opportunity. That's what we want. Need to be careful though that he doesn't have that skull in the way. We need him to like turn or something. There we go. Just a little bit more. Perfection. Oh, I really wish he would have sat that way. Oh my goodness. This bow is nuts, first of all. But we just dropped a 2-star and a 5-star from the same herd. And like, what archery hunting can do for your herds, I really think I've maybe understated it. That ability to just, you know, take out something like this 2-star and still have the 5-star coming in, or maybe multiple low fitness males, is invaluable. We actually shot way high of the heart here, by the way. It was evidently just a single lung shot that dropped him. So it's kind of similar to the crossbow in that way. That was a 67%. We know this guy is way north of 67. Look at that. I mean, that's insane. I don't know if we can get like a decent photo here. I mean, we've had better. You know what? The UTV is not far away. I never do this. Let's see if we can push him. Well, interestingly enough, the UTV is not moving him at all. So I guess we'll have to go with the screenshot we took earlier. And I think that's enough waiting. Let's see what we just shot with the bow. It was through the back of the lungs, but double lunged him. And remember, we were just trying to be super careful about not shooting him through the head. Ruining our first 5-star on Africa would have been terrible, but 94.95%, 5-star trophy rating and 5-star hunt rating with that bow. A 479 score. Now, I imagine they're probably the same as most species and make 5-star at 460, which is absurd to think about when you look at the sheer size of this guy. Like I mentioned, the overall spread of this is insane. To think that they get considerably larger than that yet. That's really, really absurd, but let's taxidermy that. I do want to look just to see if they're the same as pretty much everything else. They are a tier 6 animal. And actually, it's 470 to get to 5-star. I wonder if, like, other things on this map are the same. Cape Buffalo are 470. Gemsbuck are 458. That's interesting. Greater Kudu, 472. Remember that 3-star adult? Might not be as likely now, because they need to be that big. I like that. Oh my. Lion's gotta be 488. I still think our 3-star adult has a good chance, because lions have that long maturity cycle, but I like what they're going for, and maybe making 5 stars a little bit more rare. In our case, we got one here on our second hunt, and frankly, I think we're going to actually head back to the lodge and leave this hunt here. There's a ton of exploration yet to do, but that's a good thing. Like, we still haven't even explored half the map. We're not even to, like, the north-south divider line, but just look at him. I mean, unbelievable. The size of that, and this will be a mount for 3 of them. I don't know necessarily that we'll keep it here, but I wanted to do a full body pose for now. What an amazing looking animal. For our first 5-star ever on Tikamoon Plains, with the bow, ended up killing a 2-star in that same herd, and it's, I mean, between the lion and this, one of the best days of virtual hunting I have ever had. Like, the experiences that we had in the last couple hours just can't be matched by much of anything that I can think of in this virtual realm of hunting, but I guess that's what an incredible map based in Africa will do, and I can't wait for our next hunt. We'll probably pick up where we left off, try to continue exploring, maybe finding more 5-stars if we can get so lucky, and it's really interesting now that we know 5 stars are almost certainly going to be more rare, and that is really exciting. I like that they're taking that approach. It's going to make moments such as we had today just that much more special. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.